Welcome back to the channel. One sober to another. I'm Wayne and I'm an alcoholic. You don't have to be an alcoholic to identify in this channel. You don't even have to be sober. But if your desire is to stop drinking or stop using, you're in the right place. Today's daily reflection for 14 December 2020. Reaching out. Let's go.
I'm not afraid.
There's nothing like somebody telling you what you should do, what you could do, or what they think you should do because it worked for them. Well, you know what? That's what happens 9 times out of 10 when somebody finally gets the courage to dust themselves off out of their funk, drag themselves into a recovery center, or drag themselves into an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, or even just ask somebody for help. 9 times out of 10, the person that they are asking for help will look down on them in shame or in pity or in judgment and make that person feel like they're the lowest scum on earth. I know because I've been there. And I remember feeling like, why the hell am I asking for help if they're just gonna look at me like I'm some outcast? I already feel like an outcast, right? So why should I ask this person for help? They're already telling me all the things that I should do and all the things that I shouldn't have done. Why don't they just give me a toolkit to use? And that's where today's daily reflection comes in. Reaching out. Never talk down to an alcoholic from any moral or spiritual hilltop. Simply lay out the toolkit of spiritual tools for their inspection. Show him or her how they worked for you. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 95. When I come into contact with a newcomer, do I have a tendency to look at him from a perceived angle of success in AA? Do I compare him with the large number of acquaintances I've made in the fellowship? Do I point out to him in a majestic way the voice of Alcoholics Anonymous? What is my real attitude towards him? I must examine myself whenever I meet a newcomer to make sure that I am carrying the message with simplicity, humility, and generosity. The one who still suffers from the terrible disease of alcoholism must find in me a friend who will allow him to get to know the AA way. Because I had such a friend when I arrived at Alcoholics Anonymous. Today it is my turn to hold out my hand with love to my sister or brother alcoholic and to show him or her the way to happiness. This is a powerful daily reflection, and the reason it is a powerful daily reflection is because as a sober recovering alcoholic, I have the opportunity and privilege to share with others my experience, strength, and hope. And if I do that from some standpoint that I'm greater than somebody else, that is my automatic failure to that person who needs help. Now, I take this very seriously only because, I spent the better part of 25 years drunk. And when I went to Alcoholics Anonymous, and it doesn't have to be AA that you're walking into, although that's what this applies to, but it doesn't have to be that. It can be any kind of recovery system. It can be any kind of help that you're actually putting your hand out to and saying, look, I'm done trying to fight this myself. I need to know how there is a better way. And if I'm that person reaching out, finally dusting myself off, like I talked about yesterday in yesterday's daily reflections, thinking of others, if I'm finally dusting myself off and I have the courage or just the damn despair to walk in, the last thing I need is for someone to preach to me about all the things that I should do or all the things that I'm doing wrong, just like I spoke about in the intro. Or how they are greater than me now simply because they're sober. You know what? Screw that. I just want to know what works. Matter of fact, I want to know what's going to keep me from drinking tonight. That's what I want to know as a newcomer, because I'm at my end already. And if somebody is going to preach to me, I might as well just walk into a church and sit there in the pew and just wait for it to be over. That's how I feel about it. And I don't know how you feel about it. Go ahead and share if you like. And if I'm pitching this in a way that, kind of throws you off a little bit, good, because it's getting under your skin. I don't mean that in a controversial or attackatory defensive way. I just mean that as in, there are many people who are really, really, really lost in their disease right now, and they want to find a way out. And these are not like occasional drinkers who have issues once in a while. These are not people who, oh my God, they spent all their money last weekend drinking and now they regret it. And meh, 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 meh. These are people who are diseased and sick, just like me, who want help. And if I were to just kind of reign over them, it's not going to be effective as far as being able to help them, So I think my idea is, in tune with the daily reflection, is to lay out a toolkit for them to look at, to see what I've done in order for me to be sober and for me to stay sober and live in sobriety and thrive in my recovery, and see if they like what they see. And if anything they can use is in that toolkit, they can pull it out. They can pull out the screwdriver and see if it fits the head of the screw. They can see if, the drill bit is a large enough drill bit in order to make the hole they need. Or if the saw is a reciprocating saw, a chainsaw, a circular saw, whatever it is. Reciprocating and circular saw, I think, are the same. But anyway, to see if the tools meet their need. And if they don't, they can simply just put this tool here and take this tool away. And it's not a renter's box, so to speak. They can keep it. And they can use it in order to stay sober, or to get sober, or to find a tool to help them to live a little better than what they are now. And then take it with them. I'm okay with that, because guess what? My higher power is going to make more, and he's going to put more, or she are going to put more tools in the toolkit, the next person to use. And that's how I see today's daily reflection. Do I point out to him or her in a majestical voice the way of AA? Do I say AA is everything that you will ever need? Or AA is the only way that you will be sober ever? No, I don't say that. Why do I not say that? Because that's a point of failure. There are many methods in order for people to maintain sobriety or to get sober. They can use medications. They can use several methods. The spontaneous sobriety, I still am doing research on that, but it sounds a lot to me like working a program. But that's neither here nor there. So you have that, and you have the Sinclair method, and you have a few other methods that are available for folks to use in order to get sober. So AA is not the only way. However, it is the way that works for me. And that is the toolkit that I can lay out for other folks. I can also lay out the other toolkit of my daily spiritual growth as well as my physical maintenance, because I just got done working out. And it helps me purge my toxins in my body and everything else, which free my mind up and allow me to do these daily reflections. And many other methods, it's not just simply AA. And if I was to say this is the only way, it might shut somebody down real quick like. Although, for me, it is the way that worked and is the way that works. The one who still suffers from this terrible disease of alcoholism must find a friend who will allow them to get to know this kind of way of life. When you divulge your secrets and your innermost safeguards to somebody else, and that's part of the fifth step, folks. I admitted to God, to myself, and to another human being the exact natures of my wrongs. When I do that with somebody I trust. And why is that? I do that because that person now has my darkest secrets in their hands. And they also have, a piece of me that I just gave them that I can't readily take back. Once I expose myself and make myself that vulnerable to another person, it's important that they're able to be trusted. And the same goes for when somebody goes into recovery who is actually drawn out of their drunkenness or their high or their whatever, and they make it to the door. They don't want somebody who is just going to be some passerby, fleet of the moment, oh, I got your back. Do this, and this. See ya. Let me know when it's done. Okay, great. Thank you. That's gonna help. Bye. Gonna go get drunk now. That's pretty much the way that's gonna go. As a matter of fact, though, ipso facto, I was talking to a young woman the other night who she told me she had a sponsor before. They started working the steps, and I'm not diming her out. They started working the steps, and they got to step 4, and the dude just vanished. 2 things wrong with that. The person helping work the steps obviously wasn't committed to their commitment as a sponsor. They failed. And if they ever see this, they can call me. And for the girl, she was left feeling like she didn't matter too much to the person, as well as now she's stuck. Can you work the steps on your own? Yes and no. Parts of the steps require another person, and that's because there are parts in there where you will get to sensitive moments that you might not be able to handle on your own, as well as that whole step 5 thing. And they left her alone. And then next, I think it should have been a woman who was sponsoring the young girl, because that is a key factor, and it stops fraternization amongst members to a certain respect. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. So, and then today it is my turn to hold out my hand with love to my sister or brother alcoholic, and to show him or her the way to happiness. You know what? It is my turn. It is my turn to reach out to that newcomer, or to reach out to that person on the other end of I'm still learning all the terms, a DM or a PM or IM or IG or whatever it is, to reach out on those other ends of the messages, but to do it with care and to do it with love and generosity. I want to give. I don't want to take from somebody. I want to give. And I want to be able to share my experience, strength, and hope. I don't want to take their energy and their suffering with them. And that is my job, and I want to do it with love and care. And I will do that, because 5 years now, 5 years almost, I'm living sober, and I couldn't be happier. Sure, are some moments a little, different than I would like them to be? Of course they are, but that's just part of life, folks. That part doesn't change. The way I deal with it changes without the alcohol, and the way I deal with it changes by my new coping skills and my strategies and everything else that I've talked about before. This is life the way it is for me, and I want to be able to show somebody else that it is possible to live daily without the without the detriment of the active alcoholism or addiction, because that is where the life thrives. For an alcoholic like me, I can't just have one beer. It is the poopy cocks out of it all. I cannot just have one beer. I have to have the entire case or the entire bar. That's the way it is. And when I do, bad shit happens. It either happens internally, mentally, or externally and physically. Bad shit happens. So I cannot have just one beer. I can't have a casual glass of wine with dinner. Never liked wine in the first place, but not the point. So for me to be in the position to help somebody else who is in the same place that I was, it is my honor. So if you want to reach out, feel free. I'm at One Sober to Another on Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, and I'm also on Facebook under my real name, which you can find in my profile anyway, I think. I don't know. Hit me up, folks. You're worth it. Life is worth it. And hell, life's a garden, folks. Dig it. I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.